Really complicated ruse to get John into a date.
That's right. This is Ben's new dating service. He forgot to tell you that.
That's hilarious. That would be actually really...
A little closer. A little closer.
It's kind of like an anime, actually.
Yes, it is.
Little hearts will come out.
Right.
John will just start sweating.
I'll just turn red and I'll get my little drop.
'I think the number one burning question I have is, are there any figures with small breasts?
Yes, I have them secretly stashed away. But this is my crib, and one thing that I wanted to tell you about is I went out on a date with some friend hooked me up with this girl, and we were having dinner, and it was amazing. We were having such a good time, and she came back home, and I brought her over here, and she happened to actually walk on her own into here,
Right.
looked at this, and said, "Whoa, this is serious," about-faced, and walked out and left. Didn't say a single word. She just like walked out and left. So my anecdote is, guys, on first dates, hide your figures. Lock the door. Maybe have a button so it's like
Goes
so
black.
it flips and turns into like a sculpture of like something, but not this. As it's grown, Otaku Den itself had grown into a world news leader. So right now it aggregates news from around the world related to otaku topics. Everything from anime, manga, cosplay, events, all sorts of fun things, photography. And from there, I have two new sites. I have the American Otaku, which is my lifestyle magazine, which is up and coming right now. We have some writers who do write-ups on style, on streetwear, also on cosplay. I have a WTF section for all sorts of shenanigans that we all know and love and we see on YouTube, etc. Also, I have another website called Sex and Vinyl, which is my art photography.
So tell us about this little lady right here. Who is she?
She is Hatsumi Nico from Vocaloid.
Tell us a little about your setup here, the technical specs, what
Sure.
you use.
I have, I basically decided to homebrew my whole thing. I'm big on recycling and being green. And so I homebrewed my own reflector out of some file boxes, and I made my own diffuser. And I used a architect's lamp and put some vellum on it to create that into a diffuser. And I have my camera. The only thing that I did purchase was some camera stands.
Yeah.
And the thing that I like about that is that I know a lot of people who get involved into new hobbies and things feel like they need to buy the latest and greatest, the most expensive camera, the most expensive setup, the $800 lights and things like that. And you really don't. I mean, this
Obviously
setup.
not.
Yeah, this setup's like the lamp's like $8, and one of these boxes and some tape. And I'm still pulling off like stuff that professional photographers are calling me on and asking how I did it.
That's really cool.
And I'm sure they cringe when I'm like, "Oh yeah, I put the Staples box and I used this
awesome.
paper I found in the garbage," and they're like, "What?" So I actually set up a shot, and I figured I would shoot it, and you guys can watch me. So right now, basically, what I did is I set up the lights so it creates a shadow, and I know I'm being a little technical, but I'm going to use this reflector to highlight the face a little bit, and then I'm going to shoot that, and voila, there's our little nudie shot.
So continuing this discussion of Japanese culture, are there any other parts of Japanese culture you were into before you got into this? Before you became a true otaku?
Basically, I was always interested in streetwear. So I would pick up the Fruits magazines and books and catch up with friends who were into Goth Lolita And the cosplay I discovered after Otakuden when I went to my first con. I went to Otakon.
Yes.
And
many times.
and it was a huge eye opener. I thought my brains were going to blow out the back of my head when I first walked in and saw about 18,000 people.
Pretty impressive.
Dressed up. And
taking over the whole.
Taking over all of Baltimore, running around with swords, and the locals running around with cameras.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting because they know what's happening as well.
Right. So you cosplay?
I have not cosplayed.
Oh, okay.
I'm the nerd with the camera.
Got it.
Running around.
Go to watch. So how many do you think you have total? Or do you know? I'm sure you know, right?
Last count, I have about 450 figures.
Wow.
I have a storeroom.
Off-site.
Off-site, yes.
Impressive. The burning question is, what is behind the curtain over there?
What curtain?
That red thing.
Oh, this red curtain. All right. It's the moment of... And it actually goes all the way up to the top of the ceiling.
Wow.
And about 3 or 4 rows back. So I've got a lot of figures.
So as far as New York, since we're a New York themed show, what would be your must-do for otaku in New York? A visitor to New York?
A visitor
Places,
to New York?
Restaurants, shops, anything.
Well, there's quite a few things you can do here. It's pretty amazing. As I grew in the otaku world, I realized how much there really is. There's what I like to call Little Tokyo over by St. Mark's, 9th Street in the East Village.
Yes, we did an episode all about it.
And there's amazing food over there and a lot of cool supermarkets. And I even saw a woman dressed in a maid costume this summer selling taiyaki on St. Mark's, which was amazing to me.
So what about for figurines if you want to go shopping in New York? What's the best place?
Actually, I hit up quite a few different places. I basically do the tour of duty, as I call it. I start out by Penn Station in Midtown.
Okay.
And I stop over by Image Anime and check out what's going on over there. I'll even go up to Midtown Comics and cut back down to Forbidden Planet. And then I'll hit Chinatown because there's a few secret spots.
Okay. That you're probably not going to tell us.
Yes. So they're top secret.
Okay. Somewhere in Chinatown.
Somewhere in Chinatown.
There's some really good figurines hanging out somewhere.
Yes, usually they're downstairs. That's my hint. Take the escalator down and make a left and a left and a right and you're right there.
Who are these guys? The actual male-looking
Oh, these two dudes
over here.
are actually from a really amazing old anime from back in the day called Cobra. And this was the assassin villain that they sent after Cobra.
So what's the ratio of male figures to female figures?
Well, we've got like 30 or 40 here, and we've got 2 dudes.
I mean, in your whole collection.
We've
Those
got,
2 dudes.
We've got 450 and 2 dudes. That's
great.
basically it.
That's all you need.
That's all I need.
And how do you see the gender dimension in the world of otaku?
I find that there's a lot more female otakus than I ever anticipated. That was the big eye-opener when I went to Otakon. I expected to see a lot of me there.
Yeah.
And not. There was so many women involved, and it was very exciting to me. And not because I'm just a guy, but
right.
It was exciting because, you know, it's someone new, and growing up, because I am a little bit older than the average fan. And when I was younger, it was always shunned, you know, if a girl's into video games or if a girl's into, you know, RPG or role-playing or anything like that was considered taboo for women and girls. So now to see people dressed up in steampunk and cosplay and goth Lolita and being gamers and...
Right, it's a whole community. You don't have to leave the community to date or hang out or anything, probably,
yeah.
right? It's just...
Yeah, a lot of people date within the community, I've learned.
Are there otaku dating sites?
There are, actually. There's otaku everything now.
That makes very much sense. I'm just asking a little more detail. How do you define otaku? Who counts and who doesn't in your schema?
Who counts and who doesn't? Well, I think pretty much everyone's an otaku. I think most people don't even realize that they're otakus. I find anyone who's a fan almost to the bleeding edge where you become an expert without even realizing it. That's an otaku to me.
So the educated superfan.
Yes, definitely the educated superfan. You were asking. I have a whole plethora of breast sizes.
Nice.
That's
important.
Not just large-breasted. There's some
Good variety.
variety of breasts.
Yeah.
That's the interview. It's a wrap.
We're done.
"それが知りたく